So many people complain about the similarities in style of these new rappers from the SoundCloud era, and honestly, I see it. You can argue that rappers didn't always have similar style outside of the eponymous association with big name designers that began in the 90s thanks to stylists like Misa Hilton. These new school rappers have carved their own respective lanes with focus on sounds like emo, mumble, cloud, and alternative rap. All in all, they're not pulling from the same influences. We're gonna begin with my fave, Uzi. Uzi associates their look with designers and brands like Raf Simons, Prada, Marni, and Louis Vuitton. Designers and brands that experiment with the ideas of tradition and deconstruction of classic looks through their use of color and texture. We can see this paralleled in Uzi's style choices when they choose to put on a crisp looking sweater that would normally be considered preppy style, that most rappers probably wouldn't even wear. But then they pair it with classic markers of hip hop culture, like an iced out nameplate chain, and create a new look that embraces their style mindset of slow experimentation. Uzi is unique in their ability to know what they like aesthetically and think, why not, when putting it on. And they're not restricting themselves to pieces that are just their style. Next, let's talk about Lil Yachty. Yachty likes a comfortable feel to his clothing with an unconventional twist, but quality over everything. That's why he often wears Balenciaga and Chanel, who are known for their craftsmanship. Like the Virgo he is, Yachty is particular with his creative choices and enjoys owning pieces that are beautifully made and rare. Collared shirts and stripes make a reoccurring appearance in his look. I believe because they offer so much variation in silhouette and color choice, but give a consistently practical look. If we're looking at his day-to-day wear, it's easy to see he likes what he likes and doesn't try too hard to be the center of attention. But he is interested in the more historically renowned labels, which shows his appreciation and exquisite taste for the artisan work in the fashion industry. Because of his eye for detail and appreciation for the world of fashion, I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of decades, Yachty has a renowned brand of his own. One crucial part of style that old and new rappers alike can agree elevates a look is interesting jewelry. A brand I love that emphasizes experimental, gender-neutral style is Vitaly. I've been wearing their pieces for a couple months now and love the weighty feel of them because I know as long as they fit my style, they'll last in my wardrobe. Vitaly has so many interesting styles to choose from, and you can get 15% off your order by using my code Tchadtv15. If you're looking to add a little something to help your fit stand out, I recommend shopping with Vitaly. Now back to the video. Next, let's talk about Trippie Redd. Givenchy, Marine Serre, and Gucci are brands that represent trippy style and have a common ground of visually playing with ideas of aristocracy and casually blurring the lines between couture and sportswear. Trippie himself is a big fan of anime, and I think that's where a lot of his aesthetic preferences for brands like Givenchy come from. Because they like to use similar motifs of leather constraining accessories, chains, and even some of the face and head coverings, the parallels visually make sense to gravitate towards if you're thinking from Trippie's perspective, which signals to me that comfort isn't super important when expressing his style, but the feeling his outfit gives to those watching is. Which I think is important to note because style doesn't happen in a vacuum. People dress to communicate how they want to be viewed, amongst other reasons. In Trippie's case, I think that motivation is more at the forefront of his mind than his counterparts. I've said a lot so far. So if you're a fan of these artists, let me know if I'm being accurate or inaccurate in the way I'm interpreting their style perspectives. Also, if you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? It lets me know that you enjoy this type of content. That being said, let's get into our final artist, Playboi Carti. Carti's relationship to the fashion world is very personal, as we can see in his close relationships with young, bold designers like Matthew Williams and Virgil Abloh, rest in peace. He has a penchant for punk culture and being an opposing force with his presence in any cultural space. He finds commonality in the sounds and aesthetics of rock bands like Black Sabbath. So it makes sense to also see him dressed in designers like Raf Simons, who have a heavy focus on youth subcultures. This, coupled with the fact that he has a more low-key personality presence in the media, leads me to believe that Carti is a very visual thinker, and he sees fashion as an essential part of his creative process. Although you can say this is partially true of all of the artists I've mentioned previously, it would make sense to ring the most true for Playboi Carti, whose ties to the fashion industry create his ideation for how he presents and evolves his music sound. I think the persona of Playboi Carti without fashion wouldn't make sense to his fan base, or anyone else for that matter. And that's not necessarily true of the other artists I've mentioned, which is why I left him for last. The order in which I've spoken about these artists in this video is in ranking of their need for or connection to fashion, in order for their personas to be felt and understood. This, of course, is based on personal connection to their music and what I know of their personalities. So let me know below how you guys would order this scale. I had a lot of fun putting this video together, and I hope you guys got a lot of style inspiration. I'll see you in my next one.